I kind of feel like this is the appropriate place to start a review of the Honda CRV. This is a 2013 Honda CRV with a 2.4 litre petrol engine, and it's not a bad car at all. Now I do apologise in advance, all my camera gear is in my Audi, which is currently getting a cut and polish and detail with Prestige Auto Works, which is why I've got Robbie's CRV for the time being. So I'm going to go full Schmee 150 style and just do a handheld tour / review of this 2013 Honda CRV. So under the bonnet of this car is the 2.4 litre double overhead cam VTEC engine. So that's the 2.4 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, just runs on normal unleaded, don't need any premium, and it's not a diesel, so it's probably not as torquey as a diesel, but the 2.4 litre does mean that those 4 cylinders are slightly bigger than normal, so that kind of helps put the torque figures up to 222 Newton meters, and the power is at 140 kilowatts. Now this car does have a 58 litre fuel tank, and its claim figures is 8.7 litres per 100. Now I haven't managed to get under 9, but that's still not too far off the claim figures of this car, so it's not too bad. And even for a 2013 car, this looks like one of the newest cars on the road. I mean, even to drive, you feel smart behind the wheel. I don't know what it is about the interior and the exterior, it just feels like an overall smarter car than even some of the Euro cars that are out there. Now coming around to the side, some people might refer to this as an urban SUV, but even so, it's still got a pretty decent ride height, which means if you do have some difficult terrain to get over, this thing looks like it won't have any problems at all. And when you come up to the back of the car, most people tend to go for here for the boot handle, which you won't be able to find. You only got the camera there and a few other lights. It took me a minute to actually realise that it's actually down further inside the bumper. So you just down there, hit the button, just give it a little bit of a nudge and she'll open right up for you. And the boot is actually huge in here. There's like no lip there at all, so you can just slide stuff straight in and out. And then these seats obviously fold down and provide a flat loading surface. You can load stuff all the way in to the front seats there, so you can fit almost anything you want in here. When you are folding the seats down, you just got these handles on either side for the respective seats. So just reach on that, and that just disconnects the seat. Doesn't go all the way down, just drops the headrest and sends it on its way. Let's give it a little nudge, and she goes all the way down. Now the reason the back of the seats are managing to get so flat across here is because when you pull those levers, it actually disconnects the base of the seat from the floor, moves it out the way, and allows a little slot there for the headrest to go straight into, straight down. Now it's perfectly flat. The only annoying thing is that this seatbelt is fine, but this seatbelt here will get caught in the mechanism when you go to put this seat back up. Look, it doesn't have like a little lip along here, like a lot of European cars I've seen have got, to stop that thing getting caught. So you need to use both hands to try and, you know, manipulate that so it stays out of the way of the seat. And then yeah, just fold that back in, clicks in, and you're good to go. And when you jump in the back, most people are going to be fine. I mean, I'm 6'4", that's my driving position, and I've got loads of leg room, so there's enough room for 6-footers back here. 6 foot or 4 over is going to struggle, and if you can see here, the roof has got this recess here because this car is fitted with the optional sunroof there. So if you sit back like this, your head kind of sits in that recess, but if you sit forward, then your head kind of hits there. So if you didn't have the sunroof, it's going to be flat all the way back. It'd be a little bit better, but most people are going to be fine back here. Now I've just noticed that getting out of the car, these back doors open at almost 90-degree angles. I mean, check that out, that's the widest opening door I've ever seen on any car. Now I've got a couple little storage spots here, a little spot there, and then you can fit your cans of drink in there, and also in the foldable centre armrest that folds down there. And then obviously the back seat pockets, but that's just about it for storage for extra loot that you might have. So if this isn't enough, then you can obviously go for a little pouch like this, but really it's not too bad back here. And welcome to the front of the CRV, where it's kind of like simple but sophisticated. I mean, it's sophisticated, but it doesn't take very long to get used to where all the controls are, like I've experienced in some Mercedes Benzes and even Audis. So starting at the bottom, we've got this 12-volt socket here, and then you've got the heated seats for passenger and driver, so high, low, or middle is off. Then moving up, we've got the gear selector, no sport shift, like where you push it across and like shift yourself. We do have the shift paddles for those that you can use, or you can just go down into sport if you want that, and it'll just hold the gears longer, like any usual sport function will. Moving up further is the climate control setting. So we've got the driver and the passenger ones right here. So you've both got your own temperatures. So if this guy wants to be warmer, you can just crank it up. If you don't want it to be colder, you can crank it up and down. Then obviously got the recycle and where you want it to go, how fast you want it to be on. And if you press this sync button here, it locks them both together, so you only have to turn the one knob to get both the same temperature. So if you're just driving the car by yourself, you can do it that way instead of having to control that one and then going across to that one. Moving up to the next tier are the air vents beside the centrally located MMI screen, which I'm not really a fan of touch screens, because like when you're driving, your fingers like bouncing all over the place and it's like kind of hard to press the buttons that you want, and it can be difficult to control the exact functions that you want and choose the radio station, which is why I just use this button here to choose like different radio stations and whatnot. And then moving up to the 1, 2, 3, 4th and final tier, just behind old mate Groot there, is the information menu, where you can control via this little button here on the steering wheel. So you just press that button and the information behind Groot obviously is getting changed. So you can customize settings, you can go to fuel, you can go across, you can look at, you know, trip computers and reset everything, and with refuel you can go into a whole different range of menus. I'd probably rather this be integrated into the central screen and just have like all in one spot instead of separating like that. I mean, some people do like it, but it's not really my thing. And even if they could have integrated it digitally into here somewhere, I know the digital cockpits weren't really a thing back in 2013, but it still seems to work alright for what it is. Now this steering wheel does do a whole range of different things. So this button here, which is like a tab button, if the camera can focus on it, yep, press that one, and then it controls what you see back here. So you press it once and it goes to time, and then you actually see across the bottom there, it comes up with all these different things. So if audio's not available, it just shows you the time. It comes up like fuel and then something else which is supposed to be stored in it. I think you can customise all this in the menus as well, put what you want where you want kind of thing, but I just usually have it on the fuel just to see how it's going. See, average 10.7, I've had it down to about 9.3. Also tells you the range there, so it's 641 k's left, so that's pretty good. I mean, that's on a full tank of fuel, so it's not too bad for a 2.4 litre 4-cylinder in a big SUV like this. And next down here we've got the volume up, volume down, source, so you can like change between like Bluetooth or radio, CD even, we've got CDs there, and then you can like skip track or skip radio station, whatever you want. And then menu, as we discussed, goes into the menu through there. Hopping across the other side of the steering wheel, we've got cruise control. So when you're driving, cruise control is active, but it's not set. That green one there, so you don't have to. So already, if I start driving, I don't have to press that one. I just got to find the speed that I want, and then hit set, and then you can either brake or press cancel to cancel it. And then when it is set, take your foot off, and then like a little cruise, and then you can accelerate kilometre by kilometre going up, or decelerate if you're going to like an 80 zone from 100, and things like that. And then down here, we've got telephones, so you can call someone, you can hang up on them, and then these buttons here, you flick them like a little paddle, and that changes what you see in the centre here. So you got that little bar on the right, tells you that you're going up and down. You can see who's got their seatbelt on, but I just keep it on the fuel there as well. Little leaf logo there tells you that you're in eco mode, so that is controlled with this little button down here. Economy, you just press that on and off. I'm not sure how much of a difference it makes, but I've been driving with it on the whole time just to try and get the best fuel consumption I can, and even still I've only been able to get it down to 9.3. And then obviously we've got all our window switches here, so auto just means you can just flick it and it'll go all the way down or all the way up, depending on which way you want to go without having to actually hold the thing down. And then we can lock all the windows so that no one else can use their windows. You can be in full control as the driver. And then obviously the mirrors left and right, up and down. And that little one there will fold the mirrors in when you're parking, so there's less chance of them getting sideswiped by someone. And then last but not least, we've got the sunroof controls and lighting controls. So this is the switches to control these lights here, and then this one you just push that in, and that'll get the sunroof to go up and down like tilt, and then you press that in to close it, and then you just slide that back like that, and the whole sunroof will open up for you. This is obviously the sunglasses compartment, which if you push that and let it come all the way down, you can get your sunnies, or you can go halfway to allow yourself to see the kids in the back. What's up? And because I don't have my GoPro mounts, I've just realised that this little spot here where Groot is standing is actually the perfect place to mount my camera. So I can sit that in there, and hopefully, yeah, it's a little bit low, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's go for a spin. Now, as a personal preference, I just leave the lights on auto, which are controlled on the light stalk, not on a little toggle switch on the dash. So you've got off on an auto, just leave it on auto, you start the car, lights are on, but then you just have to manually control the high and low beam yourself, and obviously the indicators. Now, this car does have a reversing camera, which is always useful. And it does have hill hold assist, so if you stop the lights on an angle, you don't have to worry about a handbrake start at all, which is something that you're not going to want to do because it does have the foot operated parking brake, which makes it a little bit awkward. So just push on the brake and then you can release the brake, it'll hold you there, then just get on the throttle and it will go. And driving around town, the steering is nice and light, which makes the car feel agile and nimble, especially with little mini roundabouts. It's not too light that you have no feel. It's still got enough feel so you know where the front wheels are. So wheel placement around those little roundabouts is becoming quite easy. Also, the suspension isn't the softest suspension in the world, but it is still pretty comfy over little speed bumps like that one. Now the shift pedals I don't really use in this car because even when you use them there is still like a second or two delay between when the gear actually shifts for you, so better off just either going sport or just leaving it in drive. Now sporty kind of drivers don't really go for these kind of cars, do they? So now headroom in the front for a 6'4" person like me is limited. When my head is, I can feel my hair just tickling the roof there, so if it was any worse my head would be on the ceiling. So it is a little bit tight. If you keep your head to the left a little bit, you got the sunroof gap there, which provides, you know, infinite headroom. But the driving position means that you're kind of, that ridge is like kind of right in the middle of your head. So if you're going over bumps, you're going to get that corner like going into your head. But I haven't had that yet because the suspension kind of absorbs all the bumps nicely for you. So it's really not too bad. If you're 6'4" or under, then I think you're going to be fine in this car. So I've just come out onto the freeway to see how she cruises, and even with the sunroof open, there's no dramas at all. There's no draft. I mean, you get a little bit of air movement up here on top of your head, but there's nothing major. I mean, even if you've got loose hair, it's not going to be blowing around everywhere. Nothing inside the cab's feeling the breeze either. And if you're like me and want to cruise with just one hand on the steering wheel and one arm on one of the armrests, and the armrest on the door is actually the softest door armrest I've ever used, and also the center console is one of the softest I've ever used either. So you've always got something nice and soft to rest your arm on, and the chair does feel kind of like it's set up for a long distance cruise as well. It's like you can just like chill back. It's really nice and soft and padded. It's probably not the best seat for holding it in like laterally, but for long distance cruising it's nice and soft and padded. Now one minor defect that I have actually noticed with the rear view mirror is that if you're really tall and your head's almost up in the ceiling like mine is, the rear view mirror doesn't actually adjust for your eye level, so it'll max out, so it's always like kind of looking down a little bit into the back of the boot, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not too bad. Now this SUV might only have 140 kilowatts, which doesn't sound like much, but it does get up and go. This is 4-wheel drive, so it's got the grip, which you're probably never going to really need, but it does feel nice and keen to get going. I mean, coming off the green lights, you just put your foot down, maybe half to a quarter of the throttle, and it just wants to go. If you are in a real hurry and you put your foot right to the floor, this thing will rev all the way out to 7,000 RPM, no worries at all. And from 4,000 to 7,000 RPM, that's when it really pulls hard. Now the brakes are also kind of heavy, but they provide nice feel and feedback, which is nice and refreshing for a nice family SUV like this. Now when you come into suburbia like this A-pillar here can be quite large, so if you're coming around a corner you really have to tilt your head to the right or to the left to be able to see around it, so that can be a bit of a pain. But when you hit little roundabouts like this, the light steering does mean that you can perfectly place the front wheels exactly where you want them and just nail the roundabout like that. Now some SUVs have got the lighter steering, which means you've got the less feedback, so you've got less of an idea as to what the front wheels are actually doing, so it does make it quite difficult to place those wheels exactly where you want them, which is why I like driving this CRV through town so much, because it's pretty much one of the best all-round SUVs that I've actually been in. And if you ever do need to brake quickly in this car, this thing's not going to struggle at all, man. It's lighter than its rivals despite having that all-wheel drive system. This thing's just got really nice brakes that you can also feel really well through the pedal, and the grippy tyres obviously help out that aspect of the driving experience as well. Now one thing I do want to show is that foot-operated parking brake that I mentioned. The only thing is when you are parking and applying this park brake, there's a bit of a struggle if you've got long legs like me, because your knees are all the way up here just to apply it, and then you got to stomp on it, and then that's all good. Well, it's not too bad. It's just if you've got long lanky legs like I do, then you're going to have your legs going everywhere. Now one last thing about the interior is you can get this customised trim across the dashboard here, which does continue all the way until under the steering wheel, and even a little bit out this side here. Not too sure what it is, but it does look really nice in this particular spec of vehicle. Now one of the last things to know when driving the CRV are the wing mirrors are quite big and they've got quite a wide field of view, which means it does look kind of zoomed out and things do look quite small in them, but it does allow you to see wider angles. And then visibility, yeah, as I mentioned before, this pillar is really quite thick. Obviously A pillar on the other side is just as bad. B pillar is pretty thick as well, and then it's even worse back there with those pillars and the headrest combining to make a bit of a wall that you can't really see around you. I mean, yeah, this little pocket window here does help. I mean, it's not as bad as if it would have been if it had been solid. So overall, visibility isn't too bad. It's just those pillars that you got to really move your head to get around, especially when pulling out of junctions and stuff like that. So overall, I am pretty impressed with this CRV. I mean, it's a 2013 model, but it still feels nice and fresh. I mean, I'm still discovering little nooks and crannies where you can store loose bits of loot, and there's also one just under here where you can fit some stuff in there. And also the center armrest does slide backwards and forwards, so you can put it exactly where you want. You get a triple drink holder here, which will hold most drinks in cans like this, just the cans are going to be a little bit loose and rattly like that, which aren't too bad. They still hold themselves in place pretty good, and yeah, they're not going to go anywhere. Even over hills and braking and turning, yeah, they're fine. So thank you for tuning in to this very brief tour and test drive of the 2013 Honda CRV. I would rather have had all my camera gear and stuff ready to go with a tripod and getting some different angles and exterior shots of the car driving, but obviously circumstances didn't permit, so I did what I could with what I could, and yeah, hopefully you've got a good idea of what a 2013 Honda CRV is like. Now, if you did like this video, give it a like and a share, and comment below what aspects of the car you would like to see covered in future reviews so I can provide more of a thorough review for you guys out there. Now, if you would like to see more of these reviews in the future, make sure you hit the subscribe button and put the notification bell on. That way you'll get notified the moment ThreadCar releases a new video, which is typically every Wednesday. Now, one more thing before I go, the sound system in this car is actually really clear and quite bassy when you have it up loud. The volume up and down buttons do provide really fine adjustments, so you do have to tap the volume up button quite a few times to actually get it quite a bit louder, but besides that, it's one of the best, clearest sound systems that I've ever used in any car. So I hope that covered most points for you watching at home or wherever you're watching. I do appreciate you tuning into today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.